As Kaylin said, I will be talking about African traditions. There are many tribes in Africa, and with each tribe comes different traditions. I'm going to be talking about 3 different tribes and one of their traditions that they do. Most of them have multiple traditions, so I have just narrowed it down to one for each tribe. The first tribe I will be talking about is the Bantu tribe. The Bantu tribe has a tradition of kidnapping their bride. And another tribe that also does this is the Buganda, or otherwise known as Ganda tribe, but I will not be talking about that because theirs is a little bit more brutal than the kidnapping of the brides in the Bantu tribe. In the Bantu tribe, the bride is kidnapped by the guests, and they will then set a ransom for the bride for the groom to pay. If the groom decides that the bride is worth that money, then he will pay it and they will be married. If he doesn't think that she's worth that amount of money, then they will not be married and he will go on to find another wife at some other point. I have a couple of pictures here on the slide. On this side is the traditional attire for a Bantu bride, and then over on this side is a picture of the bride being kidnapped by the guests. And all of this information can be found on the African Wedding Traditions website, where they discuss how the Bantu tribe is actually is different from the Buganda tribe's wedding tradition. The next tribe that I will be talking about is the Buganda tribe and their tradition of naming their children. When a baby is born, they keep the umbilical cord and they will put it in water. If the umbilical cord sinks, then the baby is shunned from the tribe and is to leave immediately. If the umbilical cord floats, then the baby is accepted into the tribe and is then taken to the ceremony to be named. At this ceremony, the leader of the tribe will give the baby a name. It is usually a name that is meaningful to the tribe in some way. I have a video for you to watch on the naming of the ceremony. I couldn't find one with the umbilical cord because they normally do not allow this to be filmed. So the umbilical cord part, they will allow this part. So here is the naming ceremony. And the mother is the one in the white.
Has decided to give you the traditional name of Yen.
So as you can see that the son was given Yen, or the name of Yen, and it is the founder of the Bamaun dynasty.
Your name is Yen, and I want to call your attention to the fact that Yen was the mother of Shah Yen, the founder of this dynasty.
So now they will go on to name a few other babies as well. Sometimes they do it in groups and they'll name multiple babies at once, and each one gets a different name, obviously. Another thing that I found very interesting with the Buganda or Ganda tribe is that instead of the parents raising the children, the paternal uncle actually raises the children. So this is very different from the American traditions where the parents will raise their children. And I thought it was interesting because it would almost be like, you know, here if your aunt and uncle raised you instead. and then your parents took on that aunt or uncle position, because the parents are not out of the child's life in Africa. They still are there at every event and so on and so forth. The Bridgewater College actually investigated this and just looked into it to see exactly how it worked and if the parents, were able to see their children, and they were able to go to every event that the child was involved in, their birthdays, their ceremonies like this and such. The next tradition I'm going to talk about is by the Hammer tribe, and it is called bull jumping. And this is done when a young man is going to come of age or reach manhood. So he must jump over the bulls in the nude. So I did find a video, but there is some nudity, just a forewarning, because you can't find it without it, because it is a ritual that's done in the nude. I have a picture over here of a man jumping across them. They run across them, like there's a few bulls that are lined up, and they just run back and forth across them. I found a video here to show you just a quick little thing. They're just trying to round up the bulls because they keep running away, so.
That's one bull's got away. That's a bit of a rodeo. With a man at each end, the cows are held in place. The young man takes his first runner.
At these ceremonies, they continue to run back and forth across the bulls like that, and they also do whipping. They whip the women as just a ritual part of the ceremony, and it's not out of anger or anything. It's just a part of the ceremony. This is the last tradition that I'm going to be talking about. There are many other African traditions that I didn't even touch on. I just thought these were some of the more interesting ones that I found. So now I'm going to turn it over to Cheyenne, and she's going to talk about African religion.